Sometimes it feels like life is overcoming us, our emotions turning into a fire in our souls and causing us to lose control. Is there a method to prevent becoming a totally emotionless person? Some people mistakenly believe that Stoicism is about being emotionless, but in actuality, it's about learning how to control our emotions rather than becoming emotionless. Imagine having the ability to manage your emotions and use them as an effective tool to accomplish goals and have a better life. Today we will delve into the study of Stoic philosophy and discover 7 key concepts that not only assist us in managing our feelings, but also turn them into an effective tool for personal growth. Let's go on this fascinating adventure jointly and learn how Stoicism may transform your life. In order to ensure that you don't miss any of our videos, please remember to subscribe to the channel and click the bell. Now, let's look into the importance of emotions with the first principle. Cut toxic people out of your life. The people we choose to surround ourselves with have a big influence on our emotions, thoughts, and general well-being. In the same way that spoiled fruit can ruin the entire basket, being around toxic people can sap your mental and physical health and make you question your own judgment. One of the most crucial principles of Stoic philosophy is discipline and preserving your inner serenity. You must realize that although we have no influence over other people's actions, we do have the freedom to select the relationships we are in. We have 2 ears and 1 tongue. As renowned philosopher Dean famously stated, therefore we should listen more and say less. This serves as a reminder to be careful who we friend and to follow our gut feelings. Toxic people can take many different shapes. They might be persistent complainers and pessimists, or they can be people who often start arguments or have a bad outlook on life. They may cause you to lose motivation, have mental disruptions, and even impede your work toward improving yourself. Imagine yourself in a situation where someone is always complaining about everything and disparaging other people. At first, you try to be understanding and supportive of them, but eventually you realize that every interaction and conversation makes you feel depressed and hopeless. After giving it some thought, you decide to cut off contact with that person and avoid having unpleasant conversations, preferring to spend your time with friends who are positive and upbeat. Stoicism provides a strong emphasis on leading a morally upright life, in which maintaining inner serenity and concentrating on what matters most are your top priorities. This implies that we occasionally have to make tough choices, such as ending relationships with people who don't improve our lives. This isn't about holding grudges. Rather, it's about realizing that in order to keep our minds and spirits clear, some relationships may need to be broken or distanced. Eliminating these individuals will not only keep you upbeat and driven, but it will also promote personal development. You'll have more time and energy to devote to your objectives and strengthen your bonds with those that encourage and support you. According to Stoic principle, realizing that each of us has the right and obligation to maintain our own happiness and peace sometimes means avoiding negative factors, however they may appear. Keep in mind that the journey to mastering your emotions begins with making sure that your outside factors align with your internal goals. This is not an act of selfishness, but rather an important step on the path towards independence and spiritual freedom. Principle number 2. Draw limits and cease to be available at all times. Setting and upholding personal boundaries is essential to preserving one's identity. Setting personal boundaries is frequently undervalued by people, despite the fact that it's not only a necessary act of self-defense, but also a critical step in preserving equilibrium and inner serenity. Stoic people value time and the significance of self-reflection. As Seneca famously stated, There is nothing that belongs to us but time. We frequently waste time on other people, giving in to their demands without establishing boundaries and sending a message to the outside world that our time, energy, and mental health are not valuable. This can result in fatigue, envy, sadness, depressive disorders, and excessive pressure. When you utilize the Stoic principle, you begin to set limitations for your time. You make intelligent choices and say no when you feel you've reached your limit and need private time. This allows you to no longer work continuously and have time to relax, leading to a life that is better suited to balance. For example, let's say you are someone who is always willing to work day and night for your profession, but you don't refuse requests from others and often feel tired and stressed out, a sentimental one. We develop the ability to adjust to circumstances intelligently and deliberately rather than rashly or emotionally when we take the time to ponder and pay attention to our inner requirements. This not only improves our ability to control our feelings, but also increases our responsibility in all of our relationships. When you regulate your time and space, you can connect with the world in an appropriate and sustainable manner without becoming emotionally or mentally worn out. Keep in mind that creating boundaries does not imply becoming egotistical or callous toward others. You'll be more prepared to approach and manage challenging circumstances with composure and purpose. Principle number 3. Don't love anyone too much. According to Stoic philosophy, love is a lovely emotion that connects us to the pleasant and meaningful existence we constantly desire. Love and feelings are valuable, yet falling deeply in love with someone might have unforeseen repercussions. Philosophers who valued emotional resilience and Stoicism frequently discussed the peril of connection. Marcus Aurelius famously remarked that you have control over your thoughts, not external circumstances. When you acknowledge this, you'll find strength. The strength he speaks of is the capacity to love without being too attached. It's the strength to recognize a relationship's beauty without having it consume you. Determine the scope of your distance. In our personal lives, this principle becomes more evident than ever. Imagine a scenario in which we become overly dependent on someone and are willing to make unnecessary sacrifices for them. This can lead to pain when the person fails to respond to our feelings as we had hoped, and it can also cause unnecessary suffering if they move away from us or we are suffering a loss. Stoic philosophy values spiritual independence and urges us to love others freely and truly. This involves establishing a balance between independence and affection. Instead of allowing our emotions to be controlled by the deeds or opinions of others, we should maintain our people's independence and strength. However, can you love without being easily discomforted? By learning to love freely and controlling your emotions, we can become more patient, fearless of change, and able to face life's obstacles head-on. Recall that Stoic philosophy encourages us to learn how to control and manage our emotions for a peaceful and fulfilling life. By mastering the art of loving without unnecessary relationships, you not only safeguard your heart, but also honor your spirit. Stoic philosophy does not advocate becoming apathetic or cold. You learn to make meaningful connections without becoming engrossed in them. This is the first step toward actually becoming emotionally indifferent, where your feelings are under your control rather than controlling you. Principle number 4. Don't express your feelings and views. We frequently face stressful and contentious circumstances in our daily lives. In these instances, we are urged to maintain our composure and coolness rather than allowing our feelings and opinions to become overly intense. Stoic philosophy frequently highlights the value of maintaining inner peace and the peril of looking to other people for approval. Marcus Aurelius famously remarked that the quality of your thoughts determines the happiness of your life. This quote emphasizes the idea that true happiness comes from our capacity to control our intellect and thoughts without being unduly influenced by the opinions of others. When you shared an individual achievement with someone in the hopes of getting their approval or their viewpoint, what did you receive frequently in return? Was it criticism? The purpose of the fourth rule in Stoic philosophy is to help us avoid needless dispute and make sure that we do not cause unintended repercussions in our communication instead of reacting unconsciously when generated by our reactions and viewpoints. Embarrassment or even mockery of these kinds of events can hurt our feelings and compromise our self-confidence. This guideline teaches us to put other people's needs and perspectives first. This not only fosters beneficial interactions, but also teaches us how to control our emotions. Rather than allowing emotions to arise spontaneously and out of control, we can control them to ensure they are not influencing our choices or result in undesirable actions or experiences. However, this viewpoint does not advocate for total suppression of emotions and opinions. Rather, it suggests that we find tactful and thoughtful ways to express them. This means that we should think things through before speaking or acting to avoid causing conflict or becoming uncontrollable. It enables us to show tolerance and intelligent decision-making in a range of contexts, including job, family, and social life. Principle number 5. Don't take care of everyone and lose empathy and compassion. In a world filled with heartwarming and thought-provoking tales of others, the capacity to empathize with and experience the feelings of others is frequently regarded as one of the highest moral attributes of humanity. The Stoic philosopher, who famously said that it's not what is happening to you, but how you react to it that matters, expressed how easily we can become overly centralized in our emotions if we are excessively concerned about everyone else's expectations. This comprehension is especially true when it comes to tenderness, as we frequently face difficult situations involving the emotions of others. How we show affection in these situations can impact how we live and bring about changes in their lives instead of being dominated by emotions and the situations around us. The Stoic school of thought advises us to become adept at managing our emotions. This rule encourages us not to put ourselves in situations where we feel obligated to help everyone and share all of their difficulties. Instead, we ought to conduct generosity and compassion wisely. This means that you should focus on helping those who truly need your support and have the potential to strongly change their lives. Generosity does not mean that we must accept everything or take on everyone's responsibilities. Rather, it means that we must differentiate between what we can control and what we cannot. If you work in an office and you have a coworker who is having difficulties at work, you want to be compassionate and supportive of them. But you also know that you have been working hard all day and are exhausted. In this situation, you can use the principle of compassionate selection, which is about deciding when to express your emotions and when to maintain a healthy mental distance. By doing this, you protect yourselves from unneeded emotional fluctuations and make sure that when you decide to care, it is sincere, focused, and meaningful rather than working all day and passing the brunt of the stress to your colleague. You can choose to reach out to them proactively at the appropriate time after work. This preserves your mental and physical energy for you to carry on working efficiently and to offer targeted support when your colleague needs it. When we care too much for other people, we can lose sight of our own needs and objectives, which can result in weariness and imbalance in life rather than becoming too sympathetic and losing our independence. Using rule number 5, you may take care of yourself and uphold the Stoic spirit of control and reason. We might take a perceptive approach to compassion and concentrate on doing worthwhile and constructive things. This fosters healthy relationships and supports others in addition to assisting us in keeping mental and emotional control. What matters is how you respond to whatever happens to you, not what actually happened to you. In Stoic philosophy, compassion is behaving with knowledge and restraint rather than just feeling. Principle number 6. Put yourself first and become straightforward. As we near the end of the journey, rule number 6 assists us in developing emotional control and striving for spiritual elevation. It is crucial that we prioritize ourselves and become sincere with ourselves in modern life, because we frequently experience pressure from society, our families, and the environment around us. This can cause us to put others and situations before ourselves, which can cause our emotions to become complex and even out of control. However, Stoic philosophy suggests that in order to control emotions, we need to take care of ourselves first. For example, when you're on an airplane, you're told to put on an oxygen mask for yourself before helping others. This is a safety precaution, as well as a reminder of how to protect yourself in the event of an emergency on an airplane. Being aware of your surroundings and providing efficient assistance to others depends on having enough oxygen to breathe. Setting oneself first also entails concentrating on personal improvement. We should not be unduly influenced by other people's opinions. Instead, we should focus on improving ourselves every day. At times, this requires setting boundaries and turning down requests that do not align with our values and goals. Honesty is also a critical component of emotional strength. Being honest when interacting not only involves expressing how we feel and what we think, but also listening to others and facing their criticism in a direct and positive way. By being honest, we can clear up misconceptions and improve our comprehension of the circumstances. Remember that putting oneself first and being honest does not imply lacking compassion or caring about others. Rather, it is a way for us to better contribute to others. Honesty also helps us face difficulties and challenges head-on. Rather than avoiding and hiding our emotions, we can face them and find constructive solutions. This increases our emotional strength and promotes personal development. Following rule number 6 can help you develop confidence, live a more spiritually uplifting life, and have better emotional control when we have mastered self-management. Principle number 7. Embrace adversity and find strength in challenges. Life is not always simple, and obstacles can appear at any time. Rather than becoming fearful, we can learn to view these challenges as chances for personal development and maturity. These challenges might range from challenging work environments to problems in relationships and health. To become stronger in every obstacle, we should search for our inner strength, cultivate patience and resilience, and learn from past experiences. Rather than giving up when faced with difficulties, we can find methods to make the most of any scenario. The ability to control emotions is one of the major advantages of accepting challenges and difficulties in daily life. We frequently experience stressful, pressure-filled, and difficult situations that we cannot escape. But Stoic philosophy aids in the development of emotional control. Keep a positive and composed attitude in all circumstances. For instance, when faced with a big project that has a deadline approaching, you learn to control your emotions by remaining composed, concentrating on the task at hand, and looking for solutions. By following these guidelines, you finish the project on schedule and handle challenging circumstances with patience and confidence. Emotional control also helps us maintain better relationships with others. When interacting with others, we can show patience, reason, and avoid needless confrontations. One of the Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, stated that you have control over your thoughts, not external circumstances. This is one of the most important Stoic philosophy principles, highlighting the power of managing our emotions. It emphasizes the significance of realizing that we cannot fully control external events in our lives. The world can bring about unforeseeable changes, and there are situations that we cannot change. Nevertheless, what we can completely control is our minds and how we respond to those events. Realize this, and you will find strength. We become more resilient and self-assured in all circumstances when we understand that our power comes from our capacity to control our thoughts. We also become masters of our emotions rather than being slaves to them, which enables us to keep an optimistic, composed, and unwavering attitude whenever faced with challenges. One of the main tenets of Stoic philosophy, which strives to make us better versions of ourselves, is that by following the 7 Stoic rules, we can develop a spirit of patience and face life with more strength while laying the groundwork for a future we can be proud of. You have given yourself the power of a spiritual fighter. Allow the inner fire of intelligence and resolve to rule your life. Every obstacle and struggle will just present a chance for you to advance and soar. Recall that you are in charge of your own journey and that life is changing all the time. Before we wrap up today's journey, remember that you have the power to manage your mind and make decisions about how to handle any situation. Never allow bad feelings to steal your focus and resolve. Ensure that you have subscribed to our channel so that you never lose out on inspirational content and insightful Stoic philosophy knowledge. We'll be by your side every step of the way as you conquer life. In order to spread the Stoic philosophy to more people, don't forget to hit the like and share buttons. You can also leave a comment below the video saying "Encourage me" if you're not sure what to say. This lets us know that you're ready to apply the rules to your life. Keep moving forward and never stop releasing the strong human inside of you. Every day is like a battle, and you are the winner.